The film opens with a horrifying scene, a mass grave, an open pit filled with countless corpses. Deep inside that pit, a man regains consciousness. His condition is dire, and he has no memory of how he ended up there. The pit is so deep that climbing out seems nearly impossible. He senses someone watching him from the shadows, but that stranger silently walks away without offering any help. While searching the pit, the man finds a gun. As he examines it, he notices a deep bite mark on his hand. Just then, a rope suddenly drops from above, possibly thrown by the same mysterious person who had seen him earlier. Using the rope, he struggles but eventually manages to climb out. However, by the time he reaches the top, the stranger has vanished. As he moves forward, he sees dead bodies scattered all around. After walking a while, he spots a house and enters. Inside, he encounters a group of people already present. One of them immediately points a gun at him, and he instinctively raises his weapon in defense. Lucas, a man already in the house, suspects that this stranger is the killer. Meanwhile, the mysterious man believes that perhaps the people in the house are behind the killings. Lucas asks, "Who are you?" The man replies, "I don't remember anything. I regained consciousness in that open grave just a while ago." Suddenly, they hear someone groaning. Soon they find another unconscious man, who upon waking also claims to have no memory of his past. Around this time, the audience sees a mute girl, possibly the one who helped the first man escape the pit. Though she cannot speak, her expression suggests she knows more than she lets on. Everyone in the house seems to be suffering from amnesia. None of them remembers how they got there or how they are connected to one another. There's no way to communicate with the outside world, no phones, no computers. When they search their pockets, they find ID cards revealing their names. But the first man doesn't have any identification. The mute girl tries to communicate by writing something on paper, but they cannot understand her language. Tension continues to rise between the man from the pit and Lucas. Lucas still doesn't trust him, but others in the group urge them to stop fighting and instead work together to uncover the truth, who they are, why they're there, and how they got caught in such a terrifying situation. At one point, the mute girl tries to show Lucas a symbol on her hand, hoping to convey something, but the message remains incomplete. As they explore the house further, they find it fully stocked with supplies, plenty of food and necessities, meaning survival isn't an immediate concern. On the wall, they notice a calendar, with the 18th circled boldly. That date was tomorrow, indicating something significant was about to happen. They begin to wonder what could occur on the 18th. They also discover a cache of firearms, which Michael handles with remarkable skill and ease, suggesting that he might have been a guard or security personnel in the past. Even though he's lost his memory, his instincts remain sharp, hinting at a deeply embedded past. Meanwhile, the man from the pit keeps having disturbing visions of dragging a girl into the grave. The girl had a scorpion tattoo on her body. They step outside to investigate and find more corpses tied up with ropes, a chilling sight that sends shivers down their spines. The night sky is filled with stars, indicating that they are far from any city, deep in isolation. Eventually, they reach a cabin where the mute girl is feeding a woman. Upon seeing them, the woman screams, "You tortured me!" In panic, one of them strikes her with the butt of a gun. Inside the cabin, they spot a camera, confirming that someone had been watching everything. They decide they must find the control room from where the CCTV footage is being monitored and uncover the truth behind this sinister setup. Exhausted, they return to the house and plan to rest before venturing into the forest the next morning. They leave a boy, who had been with them, behind to watch over the mute girl. Although the boy insists on joining the forest trip, being an excellent marksman, his request is denied. Soon after, while alone, he hears muffled cries for help outside. He quickly locks the girl inside and steps out to investigate. There, he finds a man trapped in a fence. As he tries to rescue him, the man suddenly wraps a wire around the boy's neck and injures him severely. Meanwhile, in the forest, the group finds 2 cars. Their keys had been found earlier in the house. They consider escaping, but one car's battery is dead, and the other is out of fuel. Inside one of the cars, they find a photograph showing all the group members, except the man from the pit. This raises suspicion that he might not be one of them, but he defends himself, saying, "Maybe I was the one taking the photo." During this conversation, the mute girl arrives and signals them to come with her. She leads them to the injured boy who had been attacked by the man in the fence. By the time they reach, the boy is breathing his last. He dies before their eyes. Suddenly, the man by the fence starts screaming hysterically again. Triggered by the memory, the man from the pit pulls out his gun and shoots him instantly. Everyone falls silent, stunned as they mourn the loss of one of their own. They realize that if they don't escape soon, they may meet the same fate. The man from the pit takes Sharon with him, and together they push a nearby car to scout the area. Not far away, they find another building. As they enter, a boy appears and, recognizing the man, shouts, "John, get out of here! They'll be here by tomorrow and kill everyone." What was the boy talking about? No one could remember anything. Back at the house, Lucas is deteriorating fast. He grabs the mute girl violently, but the others manage to rescue her just in time. Meanwhile, Sharon and John try to reach the boy, but the door is locked. John tries to break it down, but suddenly Sharon experiences a sharp headache. In that moment, something inexplicable happens. A strange connection forms between them, a mysterious bond hinting at a deeper past. They feel unknowingly tied to each other. Elsewhere, Nathan asks the mute girl, through gestures, about the woman she was feeding. She understands and takes him to the shed, but the woman has already escaped. Nathan decides to press on alone and finds more huts in the woods. There, he stumbles upon a pair of glasses. The moment he puts them on, the world becomes clear, a sign that the glasses were his. Slowly, fragments of his memory begin to return. The mute girl returns home and sees that Lucas is in an even worse condition. Although he had once attacked her, his terrifying state now makes her lock herself in the attic, determined to stay safe until the others return. Lucas, meanwhile, searches the house and finds a hidden door in the basement. He breaks it open and discovers, to his shock, the control center they had been looking for. This was where all the surveillance of the huts was happening. As Lucas reviews the footage, he finds that all the victims had escaped. There is also a small lab where human brains appear to be preserved, the signs of illegal, sinister experiments. Lucas tries to piece the clues together and finally realizes the horrifying truth. John was the mastermind behind it all. He had even experimented on Lucas. The scene shifts. John and Sharon are returning to the house when suddenly a large tree falls in front of their car. As they get out to move it, they spot something terrifying. A group of infected men in the forest, furiously chopping wood in a mindless frenzy. Sharon finds it extremely disturbing, but John calls her over, and now those men start running toward them with axes. They quickly jump into the car, but its battery is nearly dead. Sensing the urgency, John gets out to push the car. Sharon panics, the pursuers are closing in fast. But then, something unexpected happens. The infected men suddenly retreat, frightened by something. Sharon notices corpses hanging nearby, a sight so terrifying that it scared even them. They manage to return to the house where Lucas is waiting. He gives Sharon the camera that contains footage of all John's actions, and he points a gun at John. After watching the footage, even Sharon begins to doubt him. She sees injection marks on her arm, suspecting that John may have experimented on her as well. Before Lucas can pull the trigger, John shouts, "Wait! I want to know what I've done." But Lucas ignores him and knocks him unconscious. Then he drags John back to the same open grave, where the film had begun. Finally, Lucas pushes John into the pit. As John falls, flashes from his past rush through his mind. Forgotten moments, fading memories, and that mysterious tattooed girl who often haunted his thoughts. After pushing John into the pit, Lucas returns home and asks Sharon for the car keys. When Sharon asks about Nathan, there's a strange emptiness in Lucas's eyes, as if he remembers nothing at all. That's when Sharon realizes Lucas, too, is starting to turn into one of those deranged people they had seen outside. Her suspicion turns into certainty when Lucas suddenly grabs the mute girl by force. The girl breaks free and runs toward the attic, but Lucas catches her again. He tries to assault her, but Sharon arrives just in time and saves the girl. Seeing a gun in Sharon's hands, Lucas tries to flee and jumps out of the window. Later, we see the same mute girl once again return to the open grave and rescue John, perhaps because she knew something about him that no one else did. John tries to make his way back and comes across the same building where he had earlier met a boy who told him that they were coming on the 18th. John wants to speak to the boy, so he enters the building. But instead, he encounters a man and a woman who are now infected, their behavior completely deranged. The woman lunges at John in rage. He narrowly escapes, but in the chaos, he drops his car keys. The woman picks them up and puts them in her mouth. Risking his life, John attacks her and somehow manages to retrieve the keys and escape. A little farther ahead, he sees the boy leaving with his family. John tries to talk to them, but they drive away without stopping. Just then, John notices a few vaccine vials lying on the ground. As he picks them up and examines them closely, a flood of memories returns. He finally realizes that he was the one who created those vaccines, not to harm people, but to save them. A strange virus had spread across the world, turning humans into violent maniacs who began hurting themselves. John had been working tirelessly to develop an effective vaccine against this deadly virus. He had finally succeeded in creating it, a formula that could save humanity from this outbreak. But unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, the vaccine never reached the outside world. And gradually, all infected people began to gather on this remote, isolated island. John was now testing the vaccine on them. In the midst of this, he discovers a classified document revealing that the military had deliberately sent him to the island for these experiments, with a strict deadline, April 18th, to complete the work. If he failed to develop the vaccine in time, the military would launch an attack and eliminate everyone on the island. John was now desperately trying to save the lives of these mentally unstable infected individuals. He also learns that this island was, in fact, a dumping zone, a place where the corpses of people who had died from the virus were discarded. On the island, he spots a dead body that he hopes to use as a carrier to deliver the vaccine to the outside world. But the vaccines never made it out, and now the military believes that John has failed in his experiments. They will soon arrive and wipe out everyone present. Among the things he finds in the car, John uncovers a deeper truth. Sharon is his lover, and Nathan is his real brother. The injection marks on their bodies confirm that John had vaccinated them to protect them from the virus. But the side effects of the vaccine had completely erased their memories. Before John can explain the truth to Sharon, Lucas tracks him down. He tries to kill John and is about to choke him to death when John grabs a nearby stone and strikes him hard. Lucas collapses and dies on the spot. Now the story flashes back to reveal everything. The entire group had come to this island as part of a scientific experiment, but due to a small mistake by Nathan, the infected girl that John was experimenting on escaped. She could have killed everyone, but John was forced to kill her to stop the spread. The flashback also shows that John had come to dispose of her body in the open grave, but was pushed in by an infected man from behind, causing him to fall into the pit as well. Escaping from there was nearly impossible, and with infected people everywhere, John injected himself with the vaccine as a last resort. That very injection erased all his memories, and thus begins the film's opening scene, where he wakes up in a daze. In the final scenes, Nathan, who had once disappeared, now returns to the same building. Sharon runs to him and embraces him tightly. It becomes clear that both of them now remember everything. Sharon had left a note for John, warning him that infected people were gathering outside the house, people who were now nothing short of a threat. Meanwhile, John was rushing home. The scene changes. It's now morning. This is the same day the military had ordered everyone in the area to be eliminated. Nathan hears some noise outside. As he opens the door to step out, the military spots him, and without a moment's hesitation, they shoot him. John was right there, witnessing his brother die before his eyes. Sharon also steps out behind Nathan, but hearing the gunshot, she panics and hides in a corner. John, regaining composure, quietly reaches Sharon and begins to lead her away so the military doesn't notice them. The mute girl is also hiding in a shed nearby. At the same time, an infected woman loses control and attacks Sharon with a knife, stabbing her in the back. Seeing this, John immediately shoots the woman with a gun. Sharon is bleeding heavily, and John has no way to take her somewhere safe, especially with the military patrolling the area. He decides the open grave is the only place they might not be discovered, assuming the military would mistake it for a pile of corpses. He takes Sharon to the grave, injects her with the vaccine, and then injects himself too, knocking them both unconscious so that if the military finds them, they appear dead. Just before losing consciousness, Sharon gives John a note containing a secret from her past. The scene changes. The military arrives and begins clearing the area filled with dead bodies. Among them is the same boy who had repeatedly warned John. After eliminating all infected individuals, they leave. Sometime later, John wakes up, but remembers nothing about Sharon. Sharon is no longer in this world. John is once again in the same confused state, with no memory of anything, not even why he's lying in that grave. The note Sharon gave him is lost. It held the secret that could have changed everything. She had written that the mute girl was immune to the virus, and John was creating the vaccine from her blood. But now, without reading the note, how would he ever know? John calls out for help, and once again, the mute girl appears to save his life. As always, she lowers a rope and helps him climb out. She then takes John to a place where thousands of dead bodies are scattered, like the graveyard of a world consumed by its dark past. The film ends on this mysterious note. Will John ever regain his memory? Will he be able to recreate the vaccine and save the world? Or will the truth, unknown to him, be lost forever? If you were in John's place, what would you have done? Let me know in the comments. I'll try to reply to every one of them.